Hello, this is Ben119 and welcome back to another video. In this video I'm going to be carrying on with the Twilight Princess dungeon design series, and this is part 2 of dungeon 1. So in the first part we got everything done before the boomerang and we got up to the boomerang. And I'm going to be talking about the second half of the dungeon in this video. So starting off, there's a fan above the boomerang door, the door you go into to fight the mini boss. And you have to use the boomerang on the fan. It's really weird, I have to do it 3 times, it gradually lifts up a bit every time. Because if you're not paying attention you might think it's doing nothing. It's a bit of a weird design, but I guess it shows that sometimes you may have to hit a switch more than once. Even though I don't think things like that are ever used ever again in the game, which is weird. And now the important thing. So throughout this temple you may have seen these bridges that have been turning in the wind and some that are just still. So with the boomerang, you're able to turn them. I think the way you'll probably think about that is you'll see the fan in the other room, and then you'll notice there's a fan on top of the bridge, so you'll think, oh, am I able to turn them? Because they're turning with the wind, and it's a wind boomerang, so you probably figure it out like that. It's quite clever, actually, how they've done that. So there's the 5th monkey. When I first tried to go for this monkey, I thought to roll into the thing that is hanging off, because you had to do that every other time. And then I realised, oh yeah, I have the boomerang, and there's a thing above, so I need to use the boomerang. So that's quite clever. So if we go this way, we're going to have to turn some bridges again. So, I'm going to wait for this one to turn. And they've been set up in such a way that you're only able to get across when you have the boomerang, because they're facing opposite to each other. So you're not able to get across unless you have the boomerang, unless you do some kind of speedrun skip, which you actually can do. So we're back in this room here. You may recognise this room. It was that door I was on about which had no use. We come out of it now. And we're going to go back into this room. You'll be thinking, why am I going back here? And it's because there's a heart piece in this room. I mentioned it a little bit in part 1, but if you go over here, I'll blow out the left torch, and the stair will fall down, and there's a chest under there. I like how there's a little gap there so you can see the chest. So then you remember to come back to it. Well, I thought to come back to it. I'm not sure if anyone else would. But I always think about chests. I always think, oh, I need to come back to that. So there you go, pretty cool. I think that's a really well hidden heart piece. I think the first hidden heart piece is a little bit too easy. I think they should have swapped that with the first stamp location. I think that would have been a bit better. So we're going to head out of here. And this is the last time we'll see this side of the dungeon. Because we won't be going on this side again. Because we've done everything on this side. So we're going to head back to the main room and we're going to get the compass. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the last video, but something I don't like is the fact that you get the compass over halfway through the dungeon in pretty much every dungeon. I think if you got the compass nice and early on, it'd be nice. Because say if I get the compass now and then I realised I missed a chest on the other side of the dungeon, it's really annoying because I have to backtrack all the way back there. So if you had the compass early on, you'd know how many chests are in each room. But in a way, it kind of spoils certain rooms, because the challenge in certain rooms is finding a chest. For example, in like Snow Peak Ruins, there's a lot of hard chests to find outside. I'll talk about that later when we get to that episode. That's way down the line. So I'm just checking them up, and as you can see, there's chest icons, so you can see where the chests are. So we're going to head to this side of the dungeon, and you may remember the boss key chest that was behind a gate, so we're going to head to that now. So we're going to get the boss key. So we can jump across here. And you may have remembered there's 4 fans. And it's quite a clever puzzle because there's a line on the floor and you have to hit the switches in order of that line, I guess you could say. I think you can go front to back and back to front. With the switches it doesn't matter as long as they follow the line and don't go offline. There you go. Very clever. Boss key. I like how the boss key chest looks significantly different. Then you know it's actually really important. I will get into Lakebed Temple when I get to there, but there's something in Lakebed Temple I think is a bit silly to do with the boss key. I'll talk about it then, don't worry. So there you go, got the boss key. I haven't even found the boss door yet, so that's pretty cool, I guess. I like it when you find the boss door before the boss key. But oh well. It's just annoying if you find the boss door and then you realise you missed the key. There's this monkey and he's going this way. And remember this room. I talked about this room a little bit in the first part. But this is the only room we haven't fully been in since we've had the boomerang. So now we can change this bridge and we're able to get across. So that's really cool, how you're able to do that now. It's only once we got the boomerang we can actually do stuff in this room. So there we go, if you remembered that room was there, you can head back to it, and then we can go through this door. And over here, there's 8 ledges, and we got 5 out of 8 monkeys. There's going to be 8 in the whole dungeon, there's 3 more we haven't got. And there are 3 empty rooms we haven't been in yet, so there's 1 in each. I'm not sure what Midden's saying there. I think she's saying to help the rest of the monkeys. The first one is over here. So you got to turn these bridges. Also they've done it so you have to turn them, even though we know about that. Over here, some vines, and there's an enemy here. Now, obviously this is going back to having to look around before you climb vines. There's a few spiders on there to catch you out if you're not paying attention. There we go, climbing up the vines. And yeah, I think it's a good dungeon, like I was saying. I do think it is a little bit too long though, like, I know it's not that long with me playing it, but that's only because I have the layout memorized. If you don't have the layout memorized, if you're playing it for the first time, this could maybe even take a few hours. If you're new to Zelda games, quite easily take a few hours. You have got the Uku, where you can go back to any room you want. That's quite helpful. I might show it off in some of the later dungeons, when I'm doing them in more parts than 2. Let's go through this door. And this room is extremely clever, because it teaches you that you can use the boomerang on several things. Not just wind, fans. You're able to use the boomerang on enemies, on bombs, and you can target other things as well. So I can get this bomb, and then I can turn around and throw it in this thing. I think this is a really good idea, but other than this temple, they don't really use the boomerang that much in Twilight Princess, which is a bit of a shame. There's not that many boomerang puzzles in the game. So this is like the only temple that really uses them. I think Twilight Princess is really good at that. It brings in a new item, uses it quite a lot, and then kind of kills it off. Like with the spinner in Arbiter's Grounds, you get to use the spinner in Arbiter's Grounds for like 20 minutes. It's really fun. And then you barely use it throughout the whole game ever again. There's a few places in Hyrule Field you can use it, but it's never used to the extent it was in that dungeon. So right here, you can target that rock and then target the bomb. I know when I first played that, I just targeted the bomb, and I timed the bomb, and I threw it as it was about to explode to get the rock, because I didn't know the real way of doing it. This is quite clever here. I don't know what I was thinking there. I was just using my slingshot, seeing if it did any real damage. It just stuns the enemies. Piranha here. Kill it. Yeah, piranhas hang from the ceiling. You can knock them down with boomerang. So we can aim at this bomb lane, and we can pick him up. It's quite clever. You have to aim from all the way over there, and then we can blow up this rock. And guess what? There's a monkey behind it. Well done. Got 2 more left. So that key was also very important. If we forget that key, we'd have to go all the way back up here. So it's quite important we go over here first for the key. And then we go to the other rooms. Just exit out. And go down one of these vines. And that's the way down, yep. These bridges, they're placed in the most awkward way possible. You have to turn them like the maximum amount of times. I think it's, yeah, 4 times. They did that on purpose, didn't they, Nintendo, to make you use the boomerang, or to make the dungeon last longer. This is a bit stupid. I'm not sure whether it's a glitch or intended, but if you try and turn the bridge before it stops spinning, it doesn't spin. I guess that's fair enough. Just wait, be more patient than I am. Go through this door. And there was 2 doors in here, but the reason I didn't do them straight away is because I need a key for one of them, so I thought I might as well do them now. It doesn't matter that much which order you do them in, as long as you get the key at some point. Do that room. So what I like about the Twilight Princess dungeons, you can kind of do rooms in whatever order you want, but you still have to follow the main kind of path and main goal of the dungeon, obviously. But in the Great Deku Tree, you just have to follow every room. It's a bit annoying. There's a spider here, another spider. Ending below. There we go. Now there's a few holes in this room. I know that it's this hole, which leads to the monkey, but if you fall down one of the wrong ones, I think you just land down there. I think if you fall down another one, I think one of those things eats you. Whatever they're called. The things you throw bombs into their mouth. So you have to be careful to pick the right one. I think what you're really supposed to do is go down there, then look up and see which one it is, then go back up. But I just try them. I already know which one it is, so it's fine. There we go, just one more monkey left. And this is the only room in the dungeon we haven't checked, and we got a key, so we might as well go in there. I think it's quite cool how they show off keys early on in this game. In Ocarina of Time, they didn't really show off keys in the child dungeons, and in the adult dungeons there was a lot of key collecting, and you're expected to know how keys worked and how many you need to have. I think Ocarina of Time's difficulty curve was quite big, especially from Jabba Joe's Belly to Forest Temple. Go, kill a spider. I think this game's difficulty curve is a lot better than that game. But this game is newer, like I was saying, so obviously they learnt from more. I think this game is easier in places. Like the combat, I think, is easier. Because enemies do a lot less damage. You have a lot less chance of dying from enemies. But some of the puzzles are quite easy as well. Some of them are quite hard. That one's fairly easy. It's just fans to open a gate. Maybe if you hadn't got the boss key yet, you might go back to the boss key now. Because you might know what to do, you might not have known at first. There we go, this the final chest. I believe it has a stamp, which is obviously exclusive to the Wii U version. There we go. And there you go, we got everything in the dungeon. So we're just going to head to the boss door and we're going to defeat the first boss. So I think that was fun. It's fun for beginners. It's the first dungeon. I think it's well decorated. I think it fits the theme of a forest dungeon really well. I wish there was more to do on the outside part of the dungeon. I just think the first half of the dungeon takes quite a while to collecting monkeys. I think the first half is a little bit boring in places, but I think it's still really good. And right here, all your hard work pays off. Like getting all the monkeys, because you're able to use them as a massive rope to get across. I really like this scene where all the monkeys are just helping you. That you help them throughout the whole dungeon, so they all help you at the end. It's quite clever. So there we go. This jump you have to time quite well, or you'll die. I think if you fall off, I think you only lose one heart. Obviously, if you make a mistake a few times, you'll die. Only with 3 hearts. There we go, jumping across. So we're at the boss door. Now, with pretty much every boss door in the game, there's usually pots outside with hearts, and there's even a fairy in one of them. I know I don't need a fairy, I've already got milk in one of my bottles, but I'm just showing off the kind of thing you find outside of boss doors. Right here's a fairy. Very nice. And we're going to head into the boss door. So I think it's weird how there's a boss door in every temple. It's really good how there's a formula, but it's still a bit strange in my opinion how there's an actual boss door. I don't know, they had to make a way for it to work. It's a video game, it's not real. I just find it weird how there's all these puzzles in the temples that they've designed for Link to do as well. So here we go. It's the boss room. And if you don't know how to defeat this boss may be quite difficult, especially if you haven't mastered the controls very well yet. I think it's a really good first boss. I do think it is flawed in a few places. For example, I think this first phase is too easy. It is really good looking though, this boss, for the first boss. Like big piranha plants. Because you've seen little piranha plants throughout the whole game up till now. And from your knowledge in this dungeon, you'll think, oh, there's bombs. Oh, there's a mouth. I lock on. And I put the bomb in the mouth. So that's cool. You could probably work that out quite easily with what's in the room. If you can't work that out, you'll probably figure it out eventually with just seeing it and not being able to do damage with anything else, because you may use a slingshot first and they may use the boomerang on their face, or you may just try and throw a bomb into the poison. I don't know what's going through people's minds when they do these boss fights. So maybe as a beginner you may think that's the whole fight, but nope, nowhere near. That's the real fight right here. This big thing. I'm not sure what his name actually is. But this seems really scary at first, but honestly it's not. I'm not sure why there's an extra bomb there. I've no idea what happened. So you may think, oh, there's no bombs. I'm not able to attack him. That's really sad. How am I going to damage him? Do I have to wait? And there you go, Monkey. That's the mini boss from earlier on, and he is going to help you out through this fight. I think it's really cool how he helps you through the fight. I think it's a really nice touch. So what you have to do is you have to lock onto the bomb, and then lock onto one of the piranhas or him. You have to time it as the monkey's going across. It's not really precise, obviously, but you still have to think about it. It's really cool, I think. I just think this boss could be a little bit harder, but I get it, they probably didn't want to make it too hard for beginners because people may struggle at this point with the controls still because they're new to the game. But I just think they should maybe attack more often. It's usually quite obvious when they're about to attack because you can see them, like a difference in their face. The monkey's going across, you want to target the monkey first, then whatever you're aiming at. So you have to time it as well, you have to time when the monkey's in the right place. There you go, dodge that piranha. And the monkey's going to come across again in a minute, there we go. Very nice. You don't even have to take out both piranhas before taking him out, you just have to take him out. And there you go, finishing attack. So that is the first dungeon of Twilight Princess HD. So I hope you enjoyed me talking about it. I probably missed out a few small things that I wanted to touch on. Please let me know if there's anything else you thought I should have talked about during this dungeon. But next time, I'm not sure when it will be because I still need to learn the rest of the dungeons in this game. Because I'm doing all the chests. I know all the dungeons, it's just I need to double check. I know exactly where all the chests are because I don't want to be having to backtrack and do things out of order. So I think that'd be a bit awkward for this series. So you get rewarded with a heart container, so then you have a little bit more health for the next dungeon. And like in every Zelda game, you always get that. And then you get one of these things. I always forget what these are called, but they're important for the main story. They're for Midna. I think it's Fuse Shadow. So yeah, I'm not really talking about the main story that much, I'm just talking about the dungeons. I'm playing through the main game 100% still, so if I have more hearts than you in certain dungeons, that's why, because I'm getting all the heart pieces as soon as possible. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. Part 2 will be soon. And if you have never played Twilight Princess and this has interested you to play Twilight Princess, then please play it. Because I think it's a really good Zelda game. And Part 2 will be soon, like I was saying. So, goodbye.